Hey everyone, it's Desiree, and I am here with one of many. That's what I'm going to say. I'm going to be doing multiple videos for Anthony's Papercraft. You saw the reveal showcase, products that I had purchased, products that they had sent me, which very honored that they did that, very honored that they reached out. But I want to do, now I'm going to come out with some multiple videos using these products and to show you. Again, my goal is for you to see everything that's out there, what's going on there. And I must live under a rock, because I think I do. This is when Anthony reached out, first time I ever heard of the company. Again, I live under a rock. I'm just saying. So Anthony's Papercraft, just enjoyed looking at the products that they had available. And I want to bring that to you to let you know that, hey, look, this company is here. These are the products that they have, and, to give the good along with the bad. I mean, I don't like to go too bad, but the products are beautiful. So the stamp, let's get into the project. I could gab for hours, and you all knew that. So the first stamps that I wanted to really work with were these string arts. The imitation. This is the large string art open star, and this one here is the large string art open square. Now, I've been playing around. Now, the beauty of it, on his website, you can get some sheets that will help you. This is what you're doing. This is how you can, figure this out. You can follow these lines and so forth. So I'm going to be sewing when it comes to this, using some DMC thread. You can use whatever thread that you may have. It doesn't matter. But just to have fun with it. Now, this is one that I was playing with, that I was just having fun creating. I actually added in this hole that's in between here, to say, okay, what would that do? So again, this was I was just playing around, and then I just, to make it look done, put a thank you stamp down there from the sentiment pack that he had sent. Of course, that's what our back is going to look like, with lots of tape. So I have my tape here. I have grabbed some DMCs. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what we're going to make, and then we'll get into that project. So I'll be right back. Okay, so this is what we're going to make with this. And as I said, I'm going to be using the square stamp, the large square. So you can see just from that stamp set that you're able to build on top of it. Now, what I think is cool, and what helps me, is not only the instructions that he provides and provides guidance on, is the fact, like, I'll create a little tiny chart. Now, this one I just happened to sew on with the thread, and then that's what our back looks like. Just here you can't save too much thread, but at least here you can by just going from side to side. But just to mark, okay, my 1A, every point starts from here, and then it all depends on where I end up. So for 1A, my color, which is this color, which is what that 335 is. So I'm going to go straight across. I'm going to go up here and down into this hole. And then I'm going to come up through this hole and go down that hole. So I'm always going to go straight across, which creates that tight little cross or star going into the center. For my second color, which is this, and of course I have to choose colors that are really close together. So you get a better effect if your colors are more separated. If they're different, more different, they stand out more. So for 2A, I'm going to come up through this one, but then I'm going to go down in this one. So I'm shifting over one hole. So I'm not going straight across. I'm always going to be on that angle as I spin around. And you're actually, for 1A, you're only going around once. There's no double layer in your thread crossing, because you're going from here to here, then you come up here, then you go down there, you come up here, you come down here, and you're just moving around. When you go into the 2, the 3, and the 4, now you're creating this V out of every hole. Now you'll see this as I do this. I'll show parts of each of these sections, the 1A, the 2, the 3, and the 4, and then it all depends. Like I'll probably show all of 1A, half of the 2A, half of 3A, half, because again, this took about 30 to 45 minutes to sew when it comes to this. So at this point, when it comes to 2A, 3A, and 4A, you're creating these V's that come off of each side, just because it depends upon the pitch that you're going to create. I mean, you could have all of these filled in, and again, you'll see that. And then I just created this hole on the outer side just to bring it in and to create that square look that we have. All right, so let's get started, and I'm going to show you how we create this in real time. So video will most likely be long. It may be a little gabby. We may laugh a lot. We may cry a lot. You never know. But I just want to make sure, I mean, again, this is what I saw with these stamps, which I think is really, it's very different. I think it's really cool. For this one, I just kept it very open, you know, very airy, where this one is just a little more dense. But again, if I would have used colors more different, you know, like a yellow, a green, a blue, a purple, you would see each of these layers a lot better. But I do like the look of all of the red that I've got going on there. Okay, so the first thing we want to do, and I already have my stamp positioned here, so we want to grab a piece of our cardstock. And this piece of cardstock is cut 5.5 by 5.5. So I'm going to put that down in the corner. The ink that I'm using is the Simon Says Stamp Fog. You can use any ink you want. You can use a dark color, you can use a light color. I just wanted to use a light color. Now, if you use a dark color, it will show, which is fine. It'll just provide another element to your design as I throw the pad across the room. It'll just add a little bit more to it. So I'm going to make sure that this is inked up well. And I'm going to stamp this down onto my card panel. And that's all I need. So I'm going to pull this out, and then now I'm going to set this aside. All right. Now what you want to do, you want to get a piece of foam or an old book. I'm just using, this is from Stampin' Up. It's an old piece of foam. And what I'm going to grab is a tack. Anything with a point you can grab. I just like the tack because it's not too wide. And I am going to puncture holes where these points are on the outside. And I'm just going to go around the entire piece. And again, I'm not pushing all the way down. I just want to make sure that there's a small hole there so that I can start my sewing. Now what I want to do is I want to grab a ruler, and from this center here, I am going to measure 1.5 inches. So I'm making sure that these two holes are lined up onto my ruler. And then I'm going to come in with a pencil and just put a mark at 1.5. And then I'm going to do the same thing down here while I'm down here, making sure I'm lined up along those holes, and then putting a mark here. And then again, same thing. I'm going to do it this way. All right. So again, lining up my ruler along the holes. So like I'll even take my pencil, put that in there, and then just line it up. Now I'm going to, 1, 2, 3, 4. Going to go out 1.5 inches. And then I'm going to do the same thing. Make sure this is positioned where I want it. And then put a mark at 1.5 inches. So those are my 4 corners. Then I'm going to come in with my thumbtack. And I'm just going to create those holes as well. All right. Now, for this piece here, I did write on it. Now I'm going to use this because I know out of this hole, everything's going to start from here and then shift. And then I know, 1A is straight across. So let's focus on 1A. So 1A is my lightest color. I am using my DMC 6-strand floss. This is floss that I use for counted cross stitch. But it can be used for so many things. I am only going to use this 3-ply, so I do have to separate the strings. Now, because of the times we are in, I am making sure I'm digging my nails in there and making sure I have 3 strands on each side, and then pulling when I can. When it stops, I'm reaching down and then just pulling again. So that's how I separate this. Okay, so now I have my thread. And again, these are not pieces that I would hand out. And the reason being is because I've got to get these threads together. Now, you could use a needle threader, but I really do not have one, and if I did, I cannot find it. So I sit here and I struggle. Again, I don't want to lick my fingers, which is what I usually do. I don't want to put the thread in my mouth, which I usually do, especially during our time. So I just try to fold it in half because this is a bigger needle. It does have a point on it. Excuse me. And you can see the eye is pretty big as well. So I'm going to start here and I'm going to come up. And I'm going to turn to the back side. And I'm going to hold that down and I'm going to grab a piece of Scotch tape. So this is near me. This has become my friend when it comes to taping these down. So you can use small pieces, large pieces, whatever you want to do. And I'm going to go straight across. So this is going straight across. Now that I've gone straight across, I'm going to go 1 over. You can either go up to this one or down to this one. I'm going to come up. Now I'm going to go straight across. So if I'm going this way to this line, I've got to go this way up here so that it will spin. All right. And that's your objective for what you're going to create. So again, I'm going to come up, I'm going to come down here, and then I'm coming over here, and then I'm coming up, and I'm just going to keep on doing that going around my piece. So what you want to watch out for, or what I kept on doing, which I thought was hysterical. So you can see now I'm at this largest point. I should be going straight over into that, which I am. So what you want to make sure is that you're going in the right direction. You're always spinning the piece. You're always, going in the same way. So you just need to make sure, and then you just need to make sure that wherever you start, it's where you're going to end. It doesn't look like you're going to end there, so I'm going to hopefully, yes. So you just need to keep an eye on that. But you always just want to go off one. if that makes sense. You'll see what I mean. Now, of course, I literally have these 2 lines here, and that's okay, because you don't want to have your thread too long either. It will knot up, and it will just drive you absolutely crazy. So you don't want to go too long. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to come up here, keeping this turned over, flipping that down, adding a piece of tape. You want to make sure that you have those tails, and now I'm going to come straight across, come down, and then tape that one down as well. So pretty easy peasy. Our first round is now done. I do cut off the end, and I will take this piece and just attach it to the little tiny cards that I create, because I'm sure I can use it for another project. All right, so now we're going to go to our second color, which is 309. All right, and that's 2A. So here I'm going to come up here again, but I'm not going straight across. I'm coming over 1, and I'm going to show you what happens when you do that. Okay, so same thing. Got my needle ready here with my thread. I'm going to come up. I want to make sure that this is locked in first. Now, for those of you that cross stitch, you know, sometimes we'll take our thread and we'll weave it because we don't knot, and you don't want to knot on this either. So we use a lot of tape on this, but there's not a lot of crossing that we can weave it through either. And even if we could, I think it would be way too loose. Okay, so again, per our template, we have 2A is coming down 1 from the main point, which is straight across. So I'm coming up and I'm going to go down. Now I'm going to do the same thing as I did before, but you're going to see you get this angle now. It's not straight across. Now I'm going to come up here in the next one. And now I'm going to go across. And again, now I'm just staying next to each of the holes as I go around. But you just want to make sure to save thread that you come up in the next hole. Okay? And you always want to hold, see how it knots? You always want to hold your card in the same manner. So since I started here, you want to make sure that this is just staying by my hand. That helps for me to guide the thread so that I don't start going the opposite way, because it will not work when you do that. You need to make sure that you're going in a circular fashion. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't, this is a card front, doesn't mean you can't put an arrow and put that going there very lightly so that you can erase it. So just, you know, keep that in mind. You can put all kinds of identifiers and little tiny marks on your card that will help you. By all means. I just chose to have that card here made before I got into the video. This way it's a visual so that you guys can see as well. All right, now I'm just coming in. Now, when we did the first layer, we kind of only went around once, and then we were done. For this layer, we're actually going to be going around twice, because we want to create that V look when it comes to this image. Now, you do not have to. I mean, if you just want to go around once, you can. There we go. Yeah, just make sure it doesn't get caught in anything. Yay! All right, I'm going to come down. Now, you can see I already have 2 here, and now I'm coming here, but you can see these are not done. That's because we didn't go straight across. we went off of one. So when we started here, we came down to here. So you're getting this V. So now I'm going to come up through this one again, even though we've already done that. And now I'm going to continue where I left off up here. And you can see for this, now I've got the V with that center line that we started with. So now we're creating these patterns. So now when I cross over here, I want to make sure I've got 3 strands now. And again, still going in the same direction. So now here is where I'm going to start those 3. And now I'm going to come up here. And we'll come up. Go off to the side. Keep my fingers crossed that I have enough string to come back down, which, okay, we'll give it a shot. Let's see. Ooh, I think just enough. So you want to, when you're doing this and taping these back here, you want to make sure that you're pulling them nice and tight so that they're really secured. And you can see here I have a knot there, which I really didn't want, but that's okay. I'm going to put a piece of tape over that just to hold that in place. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I am going to take my push pin and I'm going to put it here, because that's going to tell me this is where I need to start and continue around. So you can see here I've got my 3, and I'm going to put that there so that I can rethread my needle. So let me get this done and we'll be right back. All right, so we're going to come up and we are going to make sure we've got that taped. And now we are going to go across. And again, if you lose where you're going, look for your last one that has 3, which is that one. So now I'm going to come straight up to the top. I'm going to come in here, and now I'm just going to continue around. Now, I know you all are probably thinking, well, if you went off one, this isn't going to be even. I thought the same thing. I'm just saying. And it really, really does work. So I'm going to make sure. Again, that's why I'm only using 3 strands too. You can see I'm going to be constantly going in and out of the same holes. So you don't want to use a super big wide needle. But you also don't want to use a very small one either. And you don't want to use all 6 strands unless you're not going to have many layers. There's 4 layers to this, so that's why I did go with 3. Okay, so you can see I've got 3 over here, I've got 2 here, and when I come up, I've got 3 on this side, 3 on this side, and that's where I'm ending. And now it worked itself out. So we're going to come over. I didn't need that big of a piece of tape, but I am trying to do this with one hand. Put that down, cut, and then I will wrap this onto my piece. Okay, so that's what we have so far. You can see that spiral has come out now. It's not crossing in the center. We're creating a circle coming around this. Now, we're going to do the same thing with our 3rd color. We're going to start over here at this main point, and we're going to come down to the 3rd one. So this is going to work the same way as we did the 2, making sure that we're constantly going in the same direction. So it's the same thing that we saw prior. So I'll be right back. I'll show you how I get this started, where I come up and where I'm going down a couple times, and then we'll get moving. So let me get my needle done and we'll get right back to it. All right, so here we go. Same thing. We're going to come up. We're going to make sure that is secured. And now, of course, I can't grab this tape that I have sitting here. There we go. All right, now, I'm not going to go straight across. I'm not going to do what I did for number 2, which was come down 1. I'm actually going to come into the 3rd hole. So 1, 2, 3. Since this is my 3rd color, I'm going to come down, and the same thing. I'm going to come 1 over, and then I'm going to go 1 over. So now we're creating a V over that other V, and we're just going to continue around again. So same as before, no different. This is just creating those outer circles to be larger when it comes to the piece, which I think really looks cool. Again, I'm sure I know I've chosen incorrect colors because they're just so close that you really can't see the beautiful detail that we're doing here. But again, we can choose any colors we want, you know, it's all good. So again, you just want to make sure of 3, 4, that's what you're looking for. Like when you lose your count, here's your 3, you're adding a 4th. Here's my 3, adding a 4th. Here's my 3, that's where I want to add my 4th. In case you get yourself lost, because I find I do that once in a while. And you can see I just keep turning my piece in the same direction. And that's what I'm doing when I'm scratching at it. I'm counting those lines to make sure that I'm going into the right areas. Now we're going to have a 5th. So now I'm actually filling in on the other side. And up here, I'm still working on the 4th. So it's kind of interesting, kind of cool, the way that it works itself out. I don't know if this will work, but we're going to find out. Fingers crossed. Yes. Again, always pull it tight before you put your piece down. Now, got to make sure that we keep our piece straight. So I know I'm going to come back up into this one. So I'm going to grab my push pin, just put that there, and I'm going to grab my color. Now I'm going to use the 2nd half since I'm only using 3. I always have 2 pieces available. Put that down. All right, so now we're going to come over here, and now we'll continue around again. So it's odd because on one side you've got these, you're actually going to have 5 lines going back and forth or coming off when it comes to this piece. So at the time you've got 5, you've got a different number going into another area. So it's really very, very interesting as to how this actually does come together. But then again, I did enjoy, oh, what was it called? Was it Spirograph? Very much so. I loved it. I thought it was awesome. It was fun to just create those different designs with the circles. And you can see I keep taking my hand, my thumb, and moving this along as well. That's kind of helping to guide me to where these colors are going to go. Now your piece may also bend just a little bit. Now you can see I'm coming in here, going down to that point, coming up here, but that's okay. You'll be able, it will flatten itself out. Oh, yeah, see how I have that? You don't want that. So what I need to do, I don't know how I did this. I have a knot. I need to get rid of the knot. Okay, there we go. So by going straight across like that in the back, you're really wasting a lot of thread. So when you see that, you want to, you know, kind of change that. All right, so now I know I came down here, I did this, so now I need to go there. And that's the other way that you can do it as well, is to trace back your thread. And actually, I don't need to go up because I ended that. Yes. Okay. So there we go. So basically we have 5. We have 3 in the center and 1 on each side. That's what round 3 just did. All right, so let's get this down and secured. We'll cut that. Okay. So now I'm going to come in with our last color. Now this one here, I wanted to play with adding my own points. Okay. This here, I'm going to do something different with this. Again, just to show you a different look. All right, so let me get my needle ready. Now this area is going to be very open. It's not going to be as close knit as these are down here. And that's because of the path that we're going to take with the thread. All right, I will be right back. All right, same thing. We are going to come up on this side. We are going to make sure our thread is secured. Now, for the first one, we went here. For the second, we went in slot number 2. For the third, we went in slot number 3. You would think for the fourth, we would go in slot number 4. You can, but I'm actually going to come all the way down here, just before the last one. And I'm going to come around my piece with that angle. Okay, now you can see that it's close out to the outside. So I'm not going to have as tight as a circle as we build this. I'm also using an extremely darker color, which helps to see this just a little bit more. So I know, okay, I haven't gone into that one with this color. I know I have to go into that. So the different colors does help a lot. Now you can see I'm about to come up here, and I've already got my second point sitting on that. So when I come across into the next one, see, that's the points that you're creating. And then I'll come up one. again, come up the next one. And then you just continue around. All right, so I didn't speed through anything. We actually talked right through this. And, okay, so we're about 35 minutes in. So, okay, long video. Oh well. But I think these are just really, really cool. There's a lot that you can do with them. I mean, the possibilities are just absolutely endless, which I think is wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. But I thought these were a lot of fun when I saw them. They're different. You know, some people may, you know, like to have that cardstock, but every once in a while they miss being able to stitch. So why not? Why can't we combine them? And plus it's something different. It's something unique when we can do this on our cardstock. And now I'm just going to continue to go around. And then we are almost done. Yeah, you can get tangled up very easily doing this. And you can see now we're creating the double points on the other side now. So I think these are fun. There's all kinds of different shapes. There's also smaller ones. He's got some, you know, like as I said, these are the larger size for the stamps, and then he has ones that are titled small. I think these would also make beautiful, absolutely beautiful ornaments. Think about it, if you actually, you know, emboss, and there you go. And that's what we have there. So now you can really see, let me see if I can get up close. You can really, really see this outer part that's just sitting there. And you have this beautiful, you know, angle type going, image going on there. All right, so I'm going to pull this, put my tape down. And I think what I'm going to do here, so this measures approximately 3.5 by 3.5, this design. So I am going to bring in my cutter with the wire. And I am going to cut along this. Being careful not to, now whenever I taped, I always taped to the inside. So, you know, yay me. All right, so we'll put that there. Now I just need to look at that again. All right, so I'm going to do that. There we go. Yep. So it's 3.5. And now we'll bring this in. Whoops. Forgot, got a straight edge. I'm making sounds. Sorry about that. All right, so we've got that, and now we'll come in. And let's see what this looks like with an even 3.5 coming down. And yes, it looks great. Okay. Because now what we can do, well, again, we can do anything. I mean, we can make this an ornament. But think about if this was an ornament, if you did it on acetate. You know, like you could heat emboss the lines. Once you get your holes punctured, you know, you don't care about anything else. But could you imagine if that was like on acetate sitting on your tree and the lights would shine through? Oh my God. Absolutely gorgeous. But I mean, if you wanted something more detailed, you could add the other holes coming off to the side or anything else. I'm going to grab some other cardstock just for this to stand out. And I want this one. And then I think, yeah, I'm going to grab this one too. And then I think I'm going to grab this. Okay. So let's do some cutting. So let's see. I will be able to cut this. I'm going to cut first 4 1/4 by 4 1/4. Nope. I'm going to cut 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And we're going to actually change that to 5 1/4 by 4. All right, then I'm going to cut this 3 7/8. I'm going to look at that. So if I take this, so thin black border, but nice one here. I'm going to take 1/4 inch more off of this side. Again, I'm sure somebody's going to say this is wasteful, but I don't measure. I know what's in my head. I know what I'm looking for in my head. These are actually, they were sitting in my scraps. I'm going to go 1 more 1/2 inch or 1/4 inch. All right, so I have that. That's perfect. Now I'm going to take this and I'm going to go 3 3/4. And I don't know. I'm going to do 4 1/8 for right now. All right. So you can see that I'm just having thin borders going around my piece. I have this, and then I have that, and then I actually want to come back in with the black. Yeah. All right, so let's get this all layered up. Okay, I'm just going to push all this off to the side. Get that out of my way. I don't want to lose my thumbtack. There we go. All right. So I am going to grab my double-sided 2-inch U-line tape, and I'm going to put that onto the back of this piece. This is going to serve 2 purposes. One, it's going to hold all of my threads in place because this tape is super strong. It's awesome, absolutely awesome, but boy is it strong. I mean, it is unforgiving. The moment it touches something, it's down. There is no getting it back or trying to save it. I'm just saying. And let's see, I'm going to put this one over here. So you can see I'm just encasing those threads. All right, so let's see if we can get this peeled. Peel this side first. And now we'll peel this one. And then we'll just get that to tack down. All right. So now I am going to hope, I'm going to use this actually, because that black just gets lost. And I am going to hope I put this down as straight as I can right off the bat, because again, there is no saving it. So I stand on my tippy toes. I do yoga in the background that you all don't see. All right, so now we have that on our black. Now I can just use my glue. And I'm going to start creating my layers. So now I'm going to put this one here. And again, I'm always going to the top, because that's what I'm setting it with. Same thing. I am a fan of liquid glue. I've got time to move it. I've got time to wiggle the panels together before they truly stick. See, like that. So now I need to get this one out of my face. All right, so I'm going to put this down like this. And that's actually even on that, which is fine. So I'm going to come in with my scissors real quick, and I'm just going to take a slither off and pray I go straight. There we go. We're good. Even if it wasn't straight, we'd be okay. Because remember, we let it go. We let it go. So now I've got that. And now I'm going to put this, again, heading up to the top first. And I know this is a very thin border. And then putting this down. And then cleaning up the edges. And that is our panel there. Let me get my card base. And now I can put this here. And yes, I am forgetting to do something. And that, of course, is to stamp my sentiment. But that's okay. Because I am going, so our thank you is actually in my stamp positioning tool. I'm going to put this down in here, put that magnet there. And I think, yes, I am going to use my white pigment ink. Let me get a baby wipe first, clean off this black. Now this is a sentiment from the sentiment set that Anthony's Paper Craft had sent to me. And it simply says, thank you. Now what I'm going to do, let me get that U just a little darker, because I am going to come in with white embossing powder, so I don't know why I'm killing myself with that. So we're going to stop. All right, we're going to bring this out. And I'm going to grab my white embossing powder. This is excuse me, this is my Recollections. I had a hiccup. This is my Recollections Snow. And yeah, I am very much, oh, and I didn't use my anti-static cling thingy. But that's okay. So now I'm just making sure, because again, I don't think I did too great of a job stamping that, but I'm liking the look anyway, and that's what we're going to go with. Now I'm going to turn this on, I'm going to heat set this, and we will be right back. I don't need to keep this on while I'm going. Okay, and that is our card. I think it is absolutely beautiful. I think it's different. I think it is unique. Again, as with everything, there is a learning curve to it. These are not they're not too bad, okay? As a matter of fact, they're not bad at all. So let me, keep that clear. They give some wonderful directions and some guides to do this and to follow what the different designs that they use. So I think that's great. Sorry, I need something to drink here. Tickle in my throat, tickle in my throat. And you probably heard that gulp, so I'm so sorry. So there is just so much that you can do with them. So I do hope you enjoyed this video. Yes, it was long, but I wanted you to see from the start to the end on how we got to this idea and what it actually works and how you actually work that onto your card. So as always, these products here that I used, it'll be the String Arts, the star and the square, and then also the sentiment will be listed down below, and of course the link to his shop and his website as well. So I do encourage you just to check out Anthony's Paper Crafts, see what they have to offer. The designs are absolutely wonderful. So enjoy, smile, make sure you laugh every day, but remember what's most important for me. Always be creative. Till next time, guys, and remember, we're going to have more videos coming out for Anthony's Paper Craft. Take care.